Well, I'm going to give you another angle on gun control and psychology, psychiatry, and the use of drugs that most people aren't giving you. Now, there's been a couple books that have been out for more than a decade. One was by Bryce Taylor, Thanks for the Memories, and she accuses Bob Hope and Henry Kissinger, amongst others, Bushes, Reagan, a number of people, Rockefellers, of sexual escapades where she was a sex slave. This is the accusations in the book. Another book is out more than a decade ago, is from Kathy O'Brien, Transformation of America. She outlines the same type of thing. Now, the only president I think that wasn't mentioned in either one of these books was Jimmy Carter, which, if you think about it, that pretty much makes sense, because I think he actually was a real upstanding Christian in a more true sense than any of the other ones, whether Republican or Democrat. Well, Kathy O'Brien says that the whole idea behind psychiatry and, using these types of meds is to actually brainwash America. They want to do it in various ways, through the media and also through drugs being prescribed to people. So the national health care system is to be feared. It's government health care. It's run by totalitarians. And it's very smooth and slick, because they don't necessarily have to point a gun at you, but they will. They will if you take your pills. See? So that's another thing. Now, I should also mention, in both these books, they talk about children being sexually abused. They accuse almost all high politicians and corporate heads of pedophilia using children way underage. I'm talking single digits, below teens and everything, in sexual encounters. And they mention British royalty, the whole deal, all the way through. You could say this is science fiction or what. I don't think it is. There seems to be too much dotting the I's and crossing the T's, where these books are just fiction. And it does make a lot of sense if you start hearing, other little stories that come out every once in a while about, politicians and what they do in the background. So she's accusing, basically, there's a high-up scheme to actually abduct kids, and there was a sex slave marketing going on behind the scenes for the top entertainers from Hollywood, the top politicians, and some of the top corporate heads. And this has been going on for quite some time. Now, these are the people that want to put your kids on meds and also take your guns. There's a reason for it, and the old reason is total control. Now, this is more of a, this comes from a magazine called Common Sense. I'm going to post a link. It says there's an undeniable link between psychotropic drugs and school shootings. But I'm saying not only past that, there's actually a demonic conspiracy that's been going on for years, that top people in the world are control freaks. They use kids for sexual purposes. And actually, in the area that the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in that town in Connecticut, that's been known as an area that's been heavy into Satan worship. So this is coming from a person that isn't even like hardcore Christian, but I'm more or less not hardcore Christian, because I think most Christians are a bunch of fakes. Actually, I guess when it comes right down to it, I'm very hardcore Christian, believe it or not. But I just think a lot of Christians are a pile of it. But this goes on to talk about the undeniable link between psychotropic drugs and school shootings, but I say it goes a lot deeper than that. It goes, and I'll post a link where it is, just to give you a quick highlight. It gives you probably a good 20 names here or more, going back many years. 1989, Patrick Purdy, 25 years old, opened up fire in a schoolyard filled with children, Stockton, California. James Lith of Michigan, 1983, walked into a school meeting and shot and killed a school superintendent while on Prozac. And, and the other one was on Thorazine, which is like a drug you can barely move. It screws your head up really bad. They also had Kip Kinkel, 1998. He killed and wounded 25. He was taking Prozac. So Sean Cooper, he was taking Ritalin and another thing. It's another SSRI. It's like a serotonin receptor inhibitor or something. 1999 Columbine School. That's also Eric Harris and Dylan Tybalt killed 12 students, and they were also on psychiatric medications, but they've been sealed. The other thing is, it goes on to state a bunch of other ones going from 2001 all the way up to 2010. So this is like a pattern. Drugs actually remove the inhibitors that people logically put in their mind where they do or don't do things. That actually removes their inhibitions. So it actually could make you worse in a lot of ways. And this is like these psychotropic drugs have been linked to school shootings, but I just want to state it goes a lot deeper and a lot further. There is a policy, and this book, basically, the title of this book by Kathy O'Brien, I suggest you look it up. I don't even know if it's sold in the United States. I don't know. Probably is. But just look it up, and you can get a lot of information out of this from Kathy O'Brien. She was actually, held by these people as a slave since childhood. That's her claim. Also, Bryce Taylor, thanks for the memories, talking about Bob Hope and Henry Kissinger. Now, in the case of Henry Kissinger, I heard a lot of stuff about this through the military, too. This guy is a freak, believe it or not. And you know what he's into? Psychiatry. Big time. Big time. That was one of his major studies, psychiatry. That's what he has a major degree in. Transformation of America, basically it's the brainwashing, the total brainwashing of the entire population. That's what it's about. That's what Kathy O'Brien was talking about. And through the use of these medications that they're going to force on people in the healthcare system, it will come about. Definitely. So my thing is to say is not only be aware of it, but counterattack it in every possible way. Not only be defensive, be offensive. In other words, ban the psychologist, ban the pills. Sue them every freaking time. If something comes up, if somebody's taking pills, they have side effects. And I can tell you just last week, a friend of a friend, at 47 years old, now he's dead because of some medications given to him by a psychiatrist, actually upon the assistance of his wife, who was just being a pain in the ass, that he goes see this psychiatrist. He went and took this leave from the government, and his boss was telling him not to do it. He says, you're just under a little stress. That's a bunch of garbage. So he lost his pension, lost everything, and then he lost his life because somehow these psychiatric meds caused him to have a heart attack at age 47 and die, even though he didn't look like he was in terrible shape or anything like that. So, these pills have other side effects besides what they could possibly cause a person to do. And there is a policy to brainwash and control the entire population of America, not only through entertainment and the media, but through psychotropic pills. So fight them at everything. It's not even just about gun control. They want your brain. They want everything.